prominent black. What other policies
He's going to re-empower the EPA.
If anyone has seen a black Android cell phone, please.
Even before Trump took all the regulations away, the EPA didn't have no power because the EPA was being bought out by corporations, DuPont and etc. But he's going to re-empower the EPA to enforce these laws, right? So that this type of stuff cannot happen. Oh, everything that she's talking about is illegal.
Right, it is illegal, but the problem is what's happening is the repair.
Oh, we got to clean up. That's a massive effort. When we talk,
gotta have policies.
yeah, but that's going to be, we're going to have to put, another, EPA don't just do regulation, they do cleanup as well.
Clean up, but they also have to be compensated for the damage.
Yes, yeah. Well, they're going to have to bring up something in federal court now because the state done
Again, if anyone sees a black Android phone, we're missing one.
To those harms.
Yeah.
Without saying black, brown, Latino.
Yeah, you have to say for the people who are directly impacted by this offense.
Black people.
Yes, it's
so
always.
what is Bernie's plan?
I just told you. Are you talking about specifically for the environmental thing?
All of the injustices y'all talking about.
You're talking about reparations. He started knowing the HR 40 already.
No,
let me tell you.
That's not reparations.
I know what reparations is. I know saying. Hold on.
It's policy under racial social justice.
Close the racial wealth gap.
No, he has on there under the Green New Deal.
Yeah.
He acknowledges that there is a problem, and he talks about the New Deal, $16 trillion. That's the reparations amount we talk about, but he add everybody else in there. That package only extends the racial wealth gap, not closing.
So let me say this, two things. The reason we need reparations in this country is because of what?
Slavery.
Slavery came from what?
National incarceration.
Slavery came from capitalism. Capitalism is a system that birthed slavery. He is the only candidate who is indicting and talking about capitalism. I'm just getting started. So that's the first thing. So if you got a candidate, whatever they are, who is talking about reparations and they saying they love capitalism, they're not being real.
About reparations.
He is.
He's not full.
Yes.
When has he on the campaign full?
He is already one of the signers on HR 40.
No, I mean
HR 40 is
in public.
already.
When? Where?
I'll send you the video.
Okay.
I'll send you. He did it at NAACP.
You want my information?
Yeah.
One of the things I noticed, Bernie went from in 2016 saying that that open borders was a Koch brothers idea, right? Now he has done a 180 to be a full-fledged advocate for open borders and immigration and everything else.
No.
He is not full-throated in the way she's talking about. The way he's full-throated on immigration issues and people of color issues, that's what we're talking about. Class issues, he's full-throated. Race issues,
who is full-throated on race issues?
Who is full? Nobody. That's what we're saying. That's our whole point.
Right. And what was the recommendation from ADOSB? I've been on the website. I've read.
Number one, he needs to, if he doesn't have Sandy Darity's rewrite of HR 40, he needs to get that. Like, we're tired of bringing everything to everybody and teaching everybody things.
Well, that's what
policy,
the panel on HR 40 does. It brings together the best minds internationally.
Those are not the best minds. Dr. Sandy Darity is not
HR 40 the commission hasn't been founded, brother.
But the people involved in HR 40, the original bill, those are not the best minds.
Well,
those are activists, right? I respect what they do.
Yeah,
They're activists, but they don't have the academic side. They don't even know the scope of a thorough reparations bill, right?
Well, they're not offering up a thorough reparations bill. They're offering up a thorough study for a reparations bill.
Well, they have on their website
some stuff.
What reparations will look like.
Well, reparations is 7 parts. It's compensation. It's an acknowledgement. It's truth and reconciliation. It's a doing away of the structures that have been put in place already. So
the weird thing about that is on Bernie's platform, he has details of those things for other groups of people and not for black people. So why do you have to study reparations for black people? But
nothing happens in the country without a study. You know that. But what I will say this.
So he studied.
Nobody's studying DACA.
Right.
Huh?
Nobody's studying DACA.
Well, DACA is insufficient.
No,
DACA is insufficient
he's
for
already got policies in place to address it.
Well, DACA is something that's been brought forward from other policies, a continuation of a policy. To be clear, he didn't make up DACA.
Right.
But what I will say is this: in order for whatever comes out of HR 40, which is a commission, right? Whatever comes out of that commission, whatever recommendations are put forward, they've got to have fertile land to grow on. That means if compensation is a part of that, which it should be a part of it, I support personally in my personal life reparations. If compensation is a part of that, but people still can't get houses, people are still under debt, people still can't get health care, etc. So what we're saying is these are policies and a platform that is put in place pending a reparative package. If you don't undo the infrastructure that has been put in place that is based on the very racism and the very destruction of our communities, then whatever comes out of that council is not going to be sufficient because it's going to hit a wall. And so the only thing that I can offer today is that what Senator Sanders is putting in place is the fertile ground for whatever comes out of those that commission to actually have a field to grow in.
But as
and that is what
he can create. No, I was going to say he can create something, a package. He doesn't have to wait on a commission.
Well, there's a lot
he can get together with people.
Well, what we've got to agree on in this country, the way it is now, there's a way it should be and a way that it is. And the way that it is, universal programs are once they are put in place, they are protected. And so when he says, I'm going to put billions of dollars from the war on drugs, right? And I'm going to put it right back into disadvantaged communities that have been affected by the war on drugs. He's talking about what communities? He's talking about black communities. He's talking about Latino communities. No, you can't put a law in place that says this is only, you have to... Well, immigrants is a designation. It doesn't say Latino immigrants. It doesn't say Haitian immigrants unless it's a protected status. But he says immigration. That is a status. If you make it a racial thing, then you have just codified something specifically on race. And so what he's putting forward is universal programs. Black people have the worst health outcomes, have the most student debt, have the worst housing situation. And so when he's talking about eliminating those structural obstacles, he's talking about policies that are black, right? They are poor people. Black people are disproportionately the poor. And so right now, the study is going to happen. He supports the study. But this platform that he has put forward is the most, I'm not saying it is it is the most black agenda of any presidential candidate that has run or is running. Better than Obama, better than anybody that's running who didn't even,
That's a very low bar, though. That's a very low bar.
He wouldn't even say black. He wouldn't even say black. But what I'm saying, compared to all the other candidates and compare it to what has been offered by any other presidential candidate in the last 100 years, it is the most black agenda because we are disproportionately affected. We're the ones in prison. We're the ones on drugs. We're the put on drugs. We're the ones put in these situations. So when you're talking about ending the war on drugs, having a true war on poverty that says we're going to elevate the communities that have been destroyed by redlining, by the war on drugs, by not having education, by not having health care, by not having employment, he's talking about a black agenda. It is not the black agenda. We're not in a time, place, and condition where a president is able to run for the president of the United States with the black agenda. But really, I'm an organizer. So my work continued before and continues after. This is a president who I know that we can push, who I know that we can move, who has changed his policy, who has changed his thoughts, who has changed what he said about reparation in a matter of years, but who fully understands the power of people and is going to move by that. And accept, last thing I'll say, and a president who is prepared to accept the recommendations from HR 40.
Here's one thing, speaking of universal policy.
Yeah. I know you're going to talk about the racial wealth gap.
It widens it.
Okay.
It's a windfall for white people. 20% of us go to college.
Right.
Just like the lawyer.
And even fewer of that.
Just like the lawyer.
Right.
Yeah, he's going to be a millionaire if his student debt is
okay.
If he's not already. Right. So if 20% of us go to college and fewer than that graduate, how does that help us?
So we're not just talking about eliminating student debt. We're talking about free college. So that 20% is going to be way higher. The more people are going to have access. 20% of us go to college because our schools suck. Because we don't have the money to go to college.
But if it happens, it's an immediate windfall for white people.
It's an immediate windfall for everybody. If you just do it for a specific group, I'm not.
It's not a windfall for the group with 20%.
Tell that to the group of black women who have the most debt and keep that debt the longest. What is the possibility for those people? Yeah. I got it.
If my student debt was eliminated for me today, it does nothing but just take away one bill.
Okay.
Put some money in my pocket.
Yeah, well,
put some money in my pocket.
What is a job? What do you work? What is your work? What do you do?
I work in mental health, and it's low paying.
Well, it wouldn't always be low paying. Actually, you picked a perfect profession for what I'm about to say. If healthcare is absolutely free, what do you think that does for the healthcare industry? If people who need healthcare, who need mental health, who need to talk to somebody,
that's a whole other problem because mental health has always been underfunded.
It's not anymore.
And not properly
It'll be fully
funded at all.
It'll be fully funded.
A lot of the homeless population.
Yeah,
mental
veterans,
health service, they not getting
my
it.
family, yes. It'll be fully, absolutely free.
So I know you gotta go.
I mean, but a rising tide raising all boats. What is the absolute air?